and warm greetings from the African Renaissance TV, from wherever spatially you're watching us from. This is the Sustainability Track, and I am Muhammed B Badjie. Well, on today's show, it's going to be an interesting day. We are here to talk about why graduates can't find jobs. This is an interesting question that has been posed by several people, but to provide the answers and grounds for this discussion, I have a guest who is versed in HR and who will help us form a conversation around this and to provide all the solutions and then possible remedies to this challenge for anyone out there. And before we can head into the discussion proper, I would allow him to take a quick second to introduce himself first. And briefly, I'm looking at his background. It will not be ideal to give him all the time to take us through all the introductions, but then this will be brief. Mr. Jite, thank you and welcome to the Sustainability Track.
Thank you very much, Muhammad, and thank you for having me. I am Alassane. You already mentioned Jite, so I am not going to repeat that. I am a lecturer at the University of the Gambia at the School of Business and Public Administration. I'm the unit head for HR undergraduate program. Yes.
Well, that is quite interesting, and then I love that background for especially given the topic here. I mean, HR and job search or finding job have a very interesting relationship. But I want us to look at this in two frames. We want to look at this in the Gambian context first, and we will also try to expand on this within an African perspective later in the conversation. So what we can start with is this. How would you describe the current job trends or job market in the Gambia, especially for graduates?
All right, very important question. I think this is a question that everybody out there have been waiting to get a right answer for it. I will try to do my best to give you possible issues around it, and if possible also to brainstorm around the possible solutions to these issues. First of all, let's start with organization. We need to understand an organization, because the moment you talk about people and job, it all starts from an organization, because these people are required to work within an institution. So that's the mentality that we all grew up from, and then as an academic or intellectual, we believe that sometimes we are trained to believe that when you graduate you need to get a job. So that concept have really impeded and have affected so many young people into our field. Instead, we should have the feeling that when you graduate, you're supposed to create a job for yourself and to create a job for other people.
It starts with that first question. What should I do? Should I get a job or create?
Exactly. So that's supposed to be the first concept as we are introduced into education. You understand? I am going to school to learn. Am I going to get a job, or should I create a job after completing my program? You understand? So that is the critical question that people should ask themselves. So after understanding that, we know that it is the responsibility of individuals, family, and the government, who are the stakeholders, in shaping up these people and preparing them to create or to be absorbed by a particular workforce. You understand?
Yeah.
So then we will start questioning, what type of skill are we going in for? Am I going for a skill that will make me marketable in the field? It's just like football. Am I going to be a striker or a midfield or a defender?
You should define your position.
Yes, the demand in the market. You understand? And then you will be able to know what kind of skills should I go out to acquire, and in which environment also matters, because the environment here will advise us to see what are we learning. Is it relevant to our situation, our circumstance as a country or as an institution? You understand? Is it relevant to us, and what kind of value are missing into that skill training? You understand? So this particular part is very critical. So first of all, by looking at it in the Gambia, the way our education system is shaped, in a long time, you know, in fact, the way we
everyone has been discussing that has been the education system has been set up in that manner.
Yes, we have something we normally have the knowledge, the skill, the ability, and the motivation. So let's start with the knowledge part. The knowledge aspect of education only give you the theoretical information about the skill, the career. Like, I want to be a manager, I want to be a carpenter. You only go and pick information, read books and theories about that. But how do you translate that particular knowledge into practical? I think this is what is missing in our education system. So that's why when we go to school, we go to universities, we don't have opportunities to practicalize what we learn. We only learn theories, memorize theories, master theories, do our exam, pass exam, exit, and then apply for a job. You understand? So that is one problem. You understand? So we need to restructure our education system, diversify it, make it in a way that it will, of course, cater for both theory and practical aspect of it, so that when people graduate, they either go somewhere to have work experience further, or to create job for people who need that job depending on their passion of operation. You understand?
That is an interesting part, like especially on the part of skills and the aspect of education aspect of it. So I want to look at this to say, in a typical scenario where someone, a graduate for instance, goes for an interview, people are mostly dropped from the interview or not given the opportunity to work, and you would tend to understand that to the interviewer will be like, this graduate is missing something. Like you said, this could be soft skills or something. So from the, I still want us to be at the university level. From the university level, what are some of the things that we are really missing from students, or students are not taking on board? Some students are not taken on board to get them prepared for that stage.
Yes, because you already talk about interview. Like one course I'm teaching at the university called Introduction to HR, because you mentioned about interview. Interview is just a concept to understand what the person present on that paper. Is that the actual person? Will the person be able to demonstrate that, during the interview? Like I always discuss with my boss to say, if I am to recruit a lecturer, I don't need a lecturer who is going to give me all distinction on his paper and CV and stuff like that. I want somebody to come and prepare a module. We sit in a hall and let the person teach and see what he presented on his paper. He have that skill in him to translate that knowledge into practical. There we will be able to determine whether you will be a good teacher or not a good teacher. You are going to represent the Gambia for dancing competition. What is the essence of bringing you for an interview? Can you dance? Do you think you will be able to dance? How do you do your moves? No, I will just play music and you dance. We know your moves. You understand? So this is where universities should be able to transform people from that theoretical mindset to more of practical aspect of doing things. Like this past summer, I taught a course called Corporate Social Responsibility. You know how we go about this course? The approach I use, I divided my students into various groups, and I asked each group to write a concept note how they are going to conduct a community service. Some decided to go into community to talk to people about drug and alcohol abuse, health and safety. Some decided to embark on tree planting. Some decided to go into hospital. You understand? To help them clean or to support them with certain practical things. You understand? So when they resume, I asked them to write a reflective report about their activity. Most of them were so excited because they've never had the chance to interact with that society. So now they feel that we have the idea about corporate social responsibility, but we have actually practicalized this. So that makes us feel like we're part of that society and we even want to do more. And now, because of that experience, some of them even want to change their pattern of doing things.
That helps them to understand their passion and then where they can find their footing in. And that is quite important, I think. And this would have taken me to the next question, because it's interesting, like you said, it's not just about what you present on the paper, on the interview desk to say, this is me on paper, but who you really are is what the interviewer is looking at this. So from the HR perspective, I want to understand this. If you are to interview someone, if you are to interview a graduate on representing any company, what are some of those key skills or key things that you are looking forward for, you are looking to from these graduates?
First of all, I will just take you back because you talk about HR, so we need to follow HR procedures. Before you even invite someone for an interview, what happened? There must be a need to hire someone, right? You need to know that if there is any need for me to employ someone. Yes, if there is need, we call it, you do a job analysis. Do you really need to hire someone? Yes, I need to hire someone. Why do I need to hire someone? Because there is job to be done. What kind of job supposed to be done? Then you prepare your job specification and your job goals and responsibility.
Oh, that is how you know who you want.
Exactly. Okay. So after setting up that, then you send that out for recruitment. That is to attract potential candidate to apply for this job. Then you do the shortlisting as in line with your job specification. So when they come to the interview, to be fair enough, you need to focus on what you sent out to attract people to apply for that job. So the interview should actually look, should of course check the integrity, the nitty-gritties in that job specification, and to see what you want that person to process as sent into public for recruitment. Of course, whether the person meet those criteria or not. That's the way it should, of course, be actually.
Interesting. And this is, I'm asking this question because you'll find that graduates in general or during interview processes, these are things that can be tedious for most people, and they will always, someone in fact be intimidated by the concept of saying that I have an appointment for an interview. And that is an interesting part. So for me, this is what I want to ask now. You as someone who has experience in HR, someone who has an intellectual in academics, and someone who has worked as a person and have a background in that can really guide your decisions. What would you say that for someone, I want this to be to the benefit of the people that are watching, to say, if I am a graduate out there and I don't have a job in me, there is always a tendency of people asking for an experience in terms of interviews. The job requirements or specifications will be like, you must have 2 years of experience before you can have this job. So how prepared our students from the university coming as far as that experience gap is concerned?
Yes, this is where we talk about the skill. We teach them, give them the theory, do their exam, have distance, and when it comes to implementation, become a problem. So because they had no experience. But I have recently seen that the Ministry of Education with the UN system have introduced a new approach. I don't know, whether NYSS. Yes, I think that's a good start for students to be able to have that job experience. You understand? So that part is really critical and is important. But to tell you, let us domesticate this and talk about the realities in this country.
Sure.
Sometimes interviews don't determine whether people are to be hired or not because there is too much nepotism. Probably they will do interview just to follow the policy procedures to formalize it, but they already have someone in mind that they want to hire. You understand? So things need to be transparent and we need to do fair play. You understand? You cannot just waste organization time, resources and everything. Like the ghetto youth will say, just a camouflage situation. But you really know in mind you want to hire Muhammad. You understand? But the policy said you have to do it this way, and then you decided to do this way. You have the right to hire people who you think are productive for you, to you. But are they actually the right people for the job? Is the question. I study HR. You are hiring me to be your IT expert in the office. You understand? I am the security expert, but you are hiring me to be the land and something. Just that you really need to know. So these are things that are very critical. You understand? So before we go for an interview, we need to know whether there is even a need for that job. Just to give you an example, we have an association. We sort of a communication minister is here, and the person supposed to be responsible for all the formal communication of our organization. But we decided that we also going to hire someone to be the spokesperson for our president, example, or also to have the press secretary for our president. So what will be the role of that ministry? Is that not duplication of function, example? You know, we need to be realistic about things because we all belong to this society and we want to be the solution because we love the place. We belong to this place. We've been to Europe, we've been to everywhere, but we want to come back. We want to stay, grow up here and die here, but we have to talk about the realities and then fix those realities together. You understand? But if you just want to shy away from the truth, it will really gonna, you understand? So I hope the listeners can digest this properly and let them not personalize it, but they actually pick some sense from it, and we all collaborate to make that our system better for all of us. That's my view, because
it's not important, because one of the reasons why we have programs like this is to not just to talk about things, but is to raise awareness about things. And for that to happen, we must establish the problems before we can provide the solutions to this.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm talking of the problems.
Yes.
Could you say, like you said, for instance, there could always be a mismatch in terms of positions.
Yeah.
That is quite important. But I want to look at this from at a lower level, from the academic background of a person. Do you have, let's say, you can have someone, I can graduate as an accountant, and because of the tendency or hardship in terms of finding the right job for myself, and I'm deviating to let's say an industry or a sector that is easier for me to find job, giving me a mismatch. So if this happens at a larger scale, couldn't this be a problem?
You know, because these situations happen, and it's the reality in the Gambia, because there is, if I say lack of innovation, I may be wrong, but insufficient innovation. You understand? Because people need to live. Many people, many families don't have graduates. So you can't send me to university and you expect me to complete my university degree, and then you feel like I still don't have job to provide something for the family. The expectations are very high. You understand? So based on that, you have no patience. Obama will say, I'm so impatient with life after UTG. So you really want to get any job because you want money. Why do you need money? Because you have to solve problems. So if you don't have money, you only have abstract knowledge here. How do you survive? With less innovation. The environment itself is not giving you a space to be more innovative. So therefore, you will start thinking about where can I get job? It doesn't matter what kind of job. You understand? And in that way, then we will see that people will venture into jobs that they cannot even perform. They will only manage to be there, and eventually their career will be shifted, and it's not relevant to what they really want to be. And do you know, people perform better in a field where they really want to be, because they have a passion to be in there. But if we force them to be in somewhere where they really don't want to be, they will just be there for the sake of being there, because they need money to survive. You understand? So we need to, of course, try to bring more innovation into our market, our labor market, I mean. You understand? But here also, I will tell you why there is no innovation. It's the question. To be honest, Gambia Civil Service, we have a lot of old people in our system. I'm not asking my grandpa or my uncle to go home and sit, but to be realistic, there are a lot of graduates coming in the country. So those old people need to leave. They need to retire. They will retire, but they will not be tired, and they still want to take all contracts. So because they are taking up all contracts, so young people don't have anywhere to grab. You understand? So when this happens, the reality will be, you will see that there will be a problem. You understand? And what is going to be that problem? These young people will leave. Where are they going to live? They will leave to other countries, other continents. So I will say brain drain. There will be brain drain. You understand? So we need to replace this old work structure. You know, we need to modernize things. We need to allow old people to retire, and then with proper retirement package, because I can understand their feelings and issues. Because they will be like, I don't want to retire, I have to go for contract. How much are you paid when you are a civil servant? Your salary is very low, when the demand is very high on you, so you don't even have some basic needs. You don't have a house, you don't have a compound, you don't have a car, you are not growing, but you are degrading in value. So at the end of the day, you will get at the age of retirement, but you still don't want to retire because there is nobody to take over. You understand?
I don't mean to cut yourself from that. That is an important point, and I want us to exhaust this. But before we can do that, see, the lady behind the camera is always saying this is the time for us to take the first commercials. But from there, we will take on the conversation right from there.
Okay,
and,
no problem.
This is the part I am really loving, and then we'll come back to this. It's an interesting part.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this will take us to our first commercials. When we return, the conversation continues. short commercials. If you are just joining us, this is the Sustainability Track, and today our topic of discussion is a fascinating one. We are talking about why graduates can't find job, and I have an interesting conversation here with Mr. Jite, who is taking us through the nitty-gritties. We are first establishing the problems and some of the challenges that are faced by graduates, or why we can't find job as graduates. But this other segment is going to be an interesting part because we are focused on the solutions, on the way forward. How do we get the solutions? So if you want to get a job, if you want to find a job as a graduate or otherwise, listen to this part. It's an interesting element that is coming for you. Mr. Jite, welcome to this commercial. So normally time is always a pertinent one. It's something that we always tend to consider. So this time we want to talk about these solutions. But before we come to that, I want us to take a minute into this. How important is creativity amongst graduates in the need for searching jobs?
Yes, that's what we let's say where I will recommend for us to bring innovation in our education system. Not only to go and learn about theory, but we also try to introduce them to practical aspect of what they are learning. This will make them more competitive in the market, and that's where innovation will come. Sometimes you learn about Maslow theory, but when you try to put the theory into action, new ideas will come that can even help you to challenge Maslow theory and come up with a better theory of your own side. You understand? So I think that is critical. Yes,
that is an important part. So when you look at this, so now let's go to this element here. What do we do? What are some of those solutions or recommendations that you will put out there for not just the graduates, but for the organizations or employers or possible employers for the graduates in terms of finding a solution to this question?
All right. So first of all, it all starts from the university. Let us try to practicalize what we are teaching our students, and let the institution hiring them or partnering with them to create space for them to come and implement those things. You understand? And that is one thing. And another thing, I will encourage government to bring in more of innovation. You understand? Let's say when we say innovation, it's not just about we should industrialize things. You understand? Let's say example, if agriculture is of course industrializing groundnut production in the Gambia, how many people are we going to hire at the farm? How many people are we going to hire at the processing unit? How many people are we going to hire in the market? We will not probably be able to consume even all that groundnut, but we will end up even exporting some. You understand? In that way, there will be a lot of jobs, there will be a lot of opportunities for these young people studying agriculture at the university to think, and then they will come up with new ideas, new technologies to make these services and feel better for everyone. You understand? So I think that is very critical. Yes,
it's important because this is going to be, like you said, a collaborative effort, not just from the graduates and the employers, but from the institutions like the universities. The government is an important institute as far as this drive is concerned, and that is quite important. But from your experience now, what is it that has worked from other countries that you've not seen in the Gambia that you think we should do?
That is, in fact, every country always try to tap from the diamond of their society. Some will call it the cream of their society. That is the youth. You understand? They invest a lot in youth training, whether being in formal education or informal education, but they ensure that they acquire skills that are relevant to their national development. I think this is missing in the Gambia. Everybody will complain to say, youths are lazy, youths are lazy. How many university graduates do we have in the country that are struggling to even get a better job? You understand? At the end of the day, they will even go and pick jobs that they don't want to do, just to have an opportunity to apply for masters and fly away to go to other countries. And when they go to those countries, they don't even want to come back because they are frustrated when they are in the Gambia. So let us recognize their value. Let us make jobs challenging for them, and let us reward them. You understand? Let us try to get rid of the old people, or not. If I say old people, people can attack me, but the old brain, and allow new brains to come in with determination and take up the
fresh.
Yes, we do that. And another thing for old people too, let us try to get them a good retirement package. the government should really look at these old people because they set up the foundation for us. We respect them, we like them, and then they are the one who make the environment the way it is for us today.
Like,
so we will recognize
building on the foundation.
Exactly. So it's like and really now they can pass us the baton and fair enough to go and retire at home. But what package will be available for them? That is critical. That's a question the government should start thinking about. You understand? It's not about political statement. It's about making the Gambia better for everybody. You understand? And we are interested in this. So allow these younger ones to come and help university also to diversify their program by getting more opportunities to practicalize what they are learning, like the NMYSS project. You understand? And the USAID projects and all other projects that are coming around that education. And they should be sustainable. We should not just venture into it one semester, two semester, at the end of the day, everything fade out like that. And at the end of the day, when we invest so much into this, it will of course work because we will not even rely on external aids, external support. Everything will be invented here and everything will grow up here and then we will grow as a country. It's not about getting people who just want to get themselves rich.
Things like that what I really love to hear because when it comes to our country and our continent, we cannot have any other person or people develop it for us. This development has to be internalized and then we must stand up for our countries and our people. And this is one way we can do that. We get the word out there that these are the problems we have and these are the possible solutions we can take of that. And as far as the processes on graduates finding job being difficulty, these are some of the things that we have for you. But we'll get this conversation going. But before we can do that, we'll take final remarks if you would like onto this. So, Mr. Jite.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. And I will tell everybody being the government and every stakeholder, Gambia is our Gambia and we are partners in the development of this country. And we cannot do it without having intellectuals, you understand? Even though other parts are our stakeholders and we respect them, we recognize them, right? So let the government bring more innovation. Let us diversify our programs we do at the university by giving people to practicalize what they are learning in theory. Let's try to bring innovation into workforce. Let us reduce nepotism in our hiring and let us manage our performance, and we have performance framework to match that standard. Do you understand? Thank you.
Well, thank you. And we also really appreciate your coming onto the sustainability track here. So the whole team from the African Renaissance is indebted to you and the likes of you. With your mind and then the types of minds in this country and continent, we will really definitely excel as a country. So thank you once again. Well, this is all we have for you. Coming your way from the African Renaissance TV, this has been the Sustainability Track, and I am Muhammed B Badjie. Until we come your way with more interesting episodes of the Sustainability Track and various programs from the African Renaissance TV, stay tuned.